Is there any chance you guys are going to hold another public practice of some kind during camp?
Probably not. Well, I mean, probably not. Probably not.
Does that affect anything for you guys and basically what you want to see throughout camp and your plan?
No, we're operating separate of all that stuff, and we wanted to give the community an opportunity to see us. But as we get closer and closer down the road, there's certain things that we can't let go public because it'll go viral, and then it'll be an advantage to the people we're playing. So we can't do that stuff.
Coach, a weekend, you like the intensity that you've seen so far, do you guys?
I thought it was a good practice. We had some opportunities to turn up the intensity a little bit later on in practice, and I thought they did a nice job.
What was the message at the beginning there?
Just to make sure that we take advantage of every opportunity, that we don't waste a single minute. We don't have a minute to waste. And we've only been together for 15 plus 10, 25 practices, and we can't waste an opportunity. That's all it was.
How did you go about bringing Dejon Wilson into the program?
What do you mean? Be more specific.
How did it happen? Did you reach out to him? Did he reach out to you? How did it kind of come about where he moved from Colorado to Syracuse?
It was just a situation where you hear through the coaching grapevine that there might be an opportunity, that the guy might be looking to leave. We thought he could fill a need, so it just ended up happening for both of us.
When you looked at his tape initially, what about his skill set or maybe his experience made you think he could bring something?
We felt that after looking at him that he might be able to help a young defensive line, give us an opportunity to have another experienced guy.
And now that you've gotten your eyes on him for a week or so, what are kind of your first impressions?
I think our first impression is that our defensive line is getting better every day, and we need to continue to improve.
And Rodney Williams didn't practice today. What's his condition?
Just a little, don't want to say it out loud. He's got an owie, and I don't want the opponents to know what the owie is. And then when his owie's better, we're going to get him right back out there.
Similar deal with Wayne Morgan and Shaq Cullen?
Absolutely.
Any update on Michael Moore, James Pierre, and the NCAA situation?
Not an update. Michael Moore didn't qualify, so he won't be with us. But for everybody else, we don't have an update right now.
So Pierre, you're still waiting to hear, basically?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
What have you been pleased with so far through this first week that you've seen, this first 7 days?
Just, again, it is so difficult for them to do what they're doing. And then when you think about the temperatures, how high the humidity is up here, I mean, these guys are walking around, their socks are soaked, and you can hear them coming up behind you because you got that squish, 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 squish thing going on from all the water being inside their cleats and stuff. It's just very humid. And I mean, I'm looking around right now, and some of you guys are sweating, and they're like, 200 pounds bigger than most of you guys. So it's a difficult task. Now next week it's going to drop a little bit, but for them to push through this week in 12 to 15 pounds of gear, I thought they've been doing a nice job.
With the high temperatures, does that make you change anything about practice or do anything differently?
Absolutely not. We're getting ready to play all those guys that are eating grapes down in the South. This is awesome. This has been a blessing.
What do you continuously, obviously tempo, you're continuously stressing to these guys, but what do you want to see day in and day out to make this team a better football team?
I want them to be consistently good, not occasionally great. Somebody we can wind our clock by. Day in and day out, we know exactly what they're going to give us. That's what we're looking for.
We saw Mo Neal working out with the receivers just in the 10 minutes we were allowed to see. What kind of went into maybe giving him a look there?
Mo Neal has really good hands, so running backs don't get to catch passes really far down the field. So we like for him to work with the receivers just so he can work his hands and keep his growth going there. He did not play wide receiver at all. He's been playing running back the whole time.
How's that adjustment period been like with the quarterbacks?
The quarterback's adjustment period, they're having fun, I think.
They all talk about, getting accustomed to the system, getting accustomed. Do you feel that they're making those strides for this first week?
There's no doubt. Those guys are working hard. Coach Lewis is doing a fabulous job with them. They're getting a lot of repetitions to get better. You know what I mean? And right now they're getting in a situation where they've thrown the ball more than they've ever thrown the ball in their lives. And they've got to throw it even more than that. And they're going to get sore, and they got to work through that soreness. And then right before it gets close to the game, we'll back off and we'll let them heal up a little bit. And then their arms will get stronger and stronger as the season goes, and there's less rest for them. But right now they need to go. They got a GO.
I think you guys have a few scholarships left open. Have you put any thought into giving them to walk-ons or what you might do with them?
All that stuff's always internal stuff, and we're not going to talk about that out in the public, but I'm always looking if there's a deserving walk-on to try to take care of them financially.
Is there a time when you make that decision?
Usually when I feel like making it, And that normally happens later on after I get to see a lot more work and see if they're really willing to do all the work that needs to be done to be a scholarship player.
On the defensive side of the football, the defensive lineman talked about how their scheme has kind of changed a little bit. How has it changed defensively that we might be able to understand, not only on the defensive line, but as a whole?
You know, it's interesting because Zaire said it didn't change that much. So I guess it depends on what defensive lineman or defensive player you're talking to. You know what? I don't think it's all that different. I really don't. I'm sure they played some forms of the stuff that we play this year. It's just they haven't played as much of a certain style. So I don't think it's all foreign to them. They're just getting a lot more reps at some other stuff, some of the minor stuff, not the stuff they majored in last year.